Hello, cats and kittens. Odewa Jose Yoroshiku. And we're back on Manga Monday, checking out One Piece chapter 1007, which is entitled Raccoon Dog, in the official translation, anyway. So, I'm gonna start this in reverse. I'm gonna start with the cliffhanger because I want to get that out the way. Was Oden? Oh, was that Oden on the final page? Come back to visit his brethren, the his retainers, the scabbards? Absolutely not. So the real question is, who is that impersonating Oden? I don't know, and I'm not real good at speculation. I'm gonna say it's either Onimaru or Katarina Devon. Outside of that, I don't really care to guess. The fact is, it's not Oden. There's no way that's Oden. No way, no way, no how. But like I said, I don't really care to guess because my guesses don't usually come out that good. So we'll leave it there. That's not the biggest issue in this chapter as far as I'm concerned. But it was a good cliffhanger. Another question is, who was it that bound up their wounds? Was it the person who's impersonating Odin, or was it somebody else? I'm thinking it's somebody else because they asked who tended to our wounds. I don't know. They say they don't know. And so the person who tended to their wounds wasn't in the room when they woke up. And then Odin comes in, which makes me think that it's two separate issues. Kawamatsu seems to think that he knew who the person was, but it was in a dream. So again, that's another speculation deal. I'm just not really in the mood to speculate right now. So I don't know. I don't know who it is, and I'll speculate on that later. But I think it's a different. It's not Odin. Odin. So Odin didn't bind up their wounds. It was somebody else. Question is, who was it? I don't know. We'll see. Now the biggest issue is, or I ain't gonna say the biggest issue, but where I'm more concerned, or I mean, the MVP of this chapter is clearly Tony Chopper, the raccoon dog. Anyway, he manages to cure not only Higoru of the Ice Oni plague, but all of the pleasurers and the waiters, which effectively puts Kaido's forces in a bad way because Tama, Usopp, and Nami are getting the gifters, enslaving the gifters, which means that they now have a stranglehold on Kaido's forces, apparently. I mean, I don't know exactly how many of these forces are turning against Kaido. We'll get to the heel turn or the babyface turn, I guess, in a second. But first of all, we go to Higoru, who, even under the influence of the Oni virus, cleans out the Oni Wabanshu and was it Memwari Gumi or whatever. He cleans out the Oni Wabanshu and this other force while fighting off this virus, and then he finally comes to the point where he asks his men to end his life because he can't fight any longer. He's turning into an Oni. The boys don't want to do it because, he's a boss, he's a Yakuza boss and they loyal to him, whatever. And we see the Queen's, I don't know if you would say it's recklessly, the way that I'm not going to say he was reckless. The reason he threw his people under the bus is because he figures that the pleasurers are useless. The waiters can't get, since the Straw Hats and Law destroyed the Smile Factory, there's no more artificial devil fruits coming in. So effectively the waiters are useless, and the pleasurers, all they good for is laughs. So the best thing that they can do is accept their fate, turn into ice, only burn out, and then die. And he's satisfied with that. The only problem is, don't say that out loud, man. I mean, he's not a very good manager. You know what I mean? Even if you're going to use somebody and use them to their detriment, you got to fluff them up and make them. Who was good at that? Even that idiot. What you call him? Oh man, the gas dude. I'm blanking on his name, but the gas dude from what you call him? Punk Hazard. He knew how to fluff people up and make them feel like they was needed and so forth while he was cutting their legs out from under them. Just don't say it to their face. You know what I'm saying? So in that sense, I would say Queen was reckless in the way he used the pleasurers and the waiters, so that by the time Chopper saves them, now they're indebted to Chopper and they're turning against you. Now, unlike Tama and her Kibidangos, they're not being forced to turn against you. I mean, they're not being, manipulated in a sense, enslaved, basically. They're turning against you of their own free will. Now, they're not as, the pleasurers and the waiters are not as powerful as the gifters, but the gifters are enslaved, so it don't matter. They're in the tank. They're on your side at this point. Anyway, so the point is that they have now factions of Kaido's crew turning against him. So in terms of pure numbers, things are evening out. So at this point, all that Kaido can really count on is his top commanders and the Toby Roppo, and if they get cleaned out, it'll be interesting. On the other hand, you got two Yonko, as long as they're alliance holds, which means Big Mom's crews waiting in the wings, getting ready to come jump out and do whatever it is they're getting ready to do. So it's an interesting situation in that regard. Now, as to Chopper himself, I adore Chopper. I adore Chopper. And in a similar fashion, I appreciate the fact that he got his medical shine, which he should, because he's the crew's doctor. Similar to Sanji getting his cook shine back on, in Big Mom's territory. Okay. Now, a whole cake, basically Sanji put Big Mom down with their cake. He was the MVP over there. He basically saved their lives to an extent. So Chopper here is doing a similar thing. What I really need to see from Chopper is, as with the rest of the cowardly trio or whatever you want to call them, I know he can, well, I'm not going to minimize what he's doing. What he's doing is what he's fulfilling his role. And the goodness of his heart is what changed these people to the Straw Hat side, because he's curing everybody. And as a doctor, that's his deal. You know what I'm saying? I just don't cure people. If people are sick, I'm going to cure them. And that's a beautiful thing. And that's Chopper. That's what we would expect of him. Period. And I like the little gas bomb with the Chopper face. It's brilliant. Anyway. So I love the bit where he jacks him up. He basically put the pimp hand on Queen. We're not going to see a Chopper Queen fight. That'll be quick. Chopper shouldn't, even at Monster Point, he shouldn't be able to take out Queen. He even got an assist from Marco. Marco held him for him, to get that cheap shot in, basically, which was cool, So and I like the reaction to him. And people like, he put the pimp hand on Queen, and that was cool. I want to see him. I don't know who he's gonna fight, because the undercards look like they're slightly coming into focus. You got Frankie and Sasaki, and that Robin and Brooke are teaming up against Black Maria. And what else? You got Jinbei is fighting. He's fighting somebody, I can't, the cat fellas, or the cat fella, whose name I can't remember. It's kind of lining up, but we still don't know who Sanji's going to fight. He's going to either have to fight Jack. Maybe he comes in and breaks this up and fights Queen. We don't know. We don't know. The undercards are not set. And maybe that's because the final fights are not in place yet. It doesn't feel like this doesn't feel like the final fights to me, because the obvious matchups aren't there. And I don't think that I think Oda's going to give us the fights that we expect. Zoro against King, Sanji against Queen, probably Jinbei against Jack. I don't know. It could go a few ways, because you want to get Yamato. If she's going to join the crew, she has to fight somebody. You figure she wound up being the fourth strongest fighter, so she get the fourth dangerous. Who knows? We don't know who all of the fights are going to be. And the Big Mom Pirates haven't showed up yet. They haven't done anything outside of Peril Sparrow, who beat down Wanda and Carrot, which was messed up. But it's not messed up actually. That was probably going to go down. They caught some bad luck, and that was it. I imagine. I don't know. I don't know exactly how these fights are going to go down. Another interesting bit is that apparently Momo has the government, when they last captured Kaido, did experiments on him and supposedly came up with a failed devil's fruit. But when we get the little page from CP0, we find out that the fruit that Momo ate back in Punk Hazard was the fruit that was created from Kaido's DNA, bloodline elements or whatever. So that's interesting. So that means apparently Momo is going to have powers similar to Kaido at some point. Those little cloud thingies that he creates are similar to the clouds that Kaido creates. Given his age, I'm assuming that he's not anywhere near being able to master or have the maturity to use them at Kaido's level, obviously. But that's an interesting turn of events, an interesting callback to that fruit. And that's pretty much the majority of the chapter. Solid chapter to go into the break. I think we're off until March the 28th. What's a solid chapter? And again, I'm for Chopper being the MVP of this chapter. I'm just curious as to who he's gonna fight, because he ain't gonna fight Queen. If he fights Queen, there should be a funeral shortly afterwards, because I'm not thinking that he's ready to fight a second Yonko commander right now, or will ever be. And Monster Point only lasts, 3 minutes or so? So yeah. So he's maxed out right now. And he got a good hit in. He drawing blood from that man with the first hit, and you got everybody like, oh. It was brilliant. It was a nice bit. I like that. So, like I say, solid chapter. I enjoyed it. A nice chapter going into the break. I want to know what the final fights are going to be, and we'll find out soon enough. So, that's it for Manga Monday. We'll see you with the next chapter. I'll come up with something between now and the 28th. But until then, let me know what you think about the chapter, who you think Oden is. Go ahead and put that in the comments if you like. I don't know. Your guess is good as mine. Until next time, I'm out from Manga Mondays, out from the Crisis Corner. Y'all stay loose.